Most people walk into a room and just exist in it, but some people walk in and immediately start reading it. Not consciously, not intentionally, it just happens. They notice the pause before someone answers, the slight tension in a smile, the way two people avoid eye contact. Nothing obvious is wrong, but something doesn't feel right, and their brain doesn't let it go. At first, this kind of awareness feels powerful, like you understand people better than most, like you can see what others miss. But over time, it starts to feel heavy, because your mind doesn't just observe, it keeps going. It replays, it questions, it builds meanings that may not even exist. A simple moment becomes complicated. A normal conversation becomes a puzzle. And the hardest part? You can't just switch it off. So where does this come from? For some, it begins with sensitivity. Their brain processes emotions and details more deeply than average. Everything feels sharper, stronger, more intense. But for many people, this awareness is learned. It comes from environments where paying attention wasn't optional. It was necessary. Unpredictable moods, unclear reactions, situations where you had to read between the lines to stay safe. So the brain adapts. It becomes faster at detecting patterns, better at predicting reactions, more alert to subtle changes. And over time, that alertness becomes permanent. The problem is, what once protected you now exhausts you. Because in everyday life, not everything needs to be analyzed, but your brain doesn't know that. So it keeps scanning. And that leads to the first big pattern: constant interpretation. A message isn't just a message, it's tone, timing, intention. A short reply feels meaningful. A delay feels personal. Even when it's not, your mind fills in the gaps, often with worst-case explanations. Then comes something even deeper: watching yourself. You don't just live moments, you monitor them. While talking, part of you is thinking, am I saying this right? Did that sound strange? You become both the actor and the critic. And slowly, it takes away something simple but important: natural flow. You're present, but not fully. Because your attention is split, then relationships start to feel different. You begin to notice layers in everything. Kindness feels like it might have a reason behind it. Compliments feel like they need to be analyzed. You're not trying to be negative, you're trying to be accurate. But accuracy comes at a cost. It becomes harder to trust what's simple, and that creates distance. Not because people push you away, but because your mind doesn't fully relax. Then there's empathy. For most people, empathy turns on when needed. For you, it's always active. You don't just understand emotions, you absorb them. Someone stressed near you, you feel it. Someone upset, it stays with you, even after they leave. And after a while, you're carrying emotions that were never yours. That weight doesn't just stay mental, it shows up physically. Restlessness, tension, a constant sense that something is wrong, even when it isn't. Your body reacts as if there's a problem, because your brain keeps signaling one. So naturally, the mind tries to regain control. It starts planning, predicting, preparing for things that haven't happened. If this goes wrong, if they change, if something breaks, it feels like protection. But in reality, it pulls you away from the present. You stop experiencing life directly. Instead, you're always one step ahead, trying to manage outcomes. And that's where exhaustion builds, because life isn't meant to be controlled at that level. So what actually helps? Not reducing awareness. That's not realistic. The shift is learning boundaries inside your mind. Just because you notice something doesn't mean you need to follow it. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it's true. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it needs to be solved. When you start practicing that, something changes. Your awareness stays, but it becomes quieter, less urgent, less demanding. You still notice details, but you don't chase every meaning. You still feel deeply, but you don't carry everything. And slowly, you return to the present, not perfectly, but enough to breathe again. Because the goal was never to stop seeing deeply. It was to stop letting everything you see control you. And once that happens, awareness stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like clarity.